far too easy for what the problem was. So I'm worried that it might not quite be done, but it might be. Hello, sorry about the ad hoc nature of this video, but I've noticed my printer has a few things wrong with it. For example, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see a picture I posted where the flat surfaces, both horizontal and vertical, are all getting kind of patchy and incomplete. And I wasn't exactly sure why, but today while I was trying to print a print that was rather long, it didn't take long for it to start to make a clicking sound in the back, and it really sounded like some sort of gear was slipping. And when I raised the little notch where you can see the drive gear that pulls the filament up and into the system, the drive gear had a patch of really caked on plastic chips. So I think I just need to go in there, do a little routine cleaning, which I've actually never done, but I've been doing quite a bit of printing recently, so I need to make sure I service it appropriately. And so I guess I'll try to have the camera on while I take it apart, and you can come along with me on this little nerve-wracking ride. I've started by ejecting the filament, so all I need to do is pull it out, and I'm going to make sure I unplug it before doing any kind of like unscrewing or disassembly. So let's try this together. These screws are really tiny and seated in really far. But it's not easy to see what they actually hold on to, so I might need to unscrew the servo extruder motor right here. But I hope I don't. I hope I just do a couple to remove the assembly around the housing and for the path of the filament. And that's it. That'd be nice. So I removed this whole section. Now on the inside, there are more screws to remove before I have access directly to that gear. I'm going to take one quick picture so there's no doubt of what this looks like. The built-up dust is in between the assembly for the motor and the actual other assembly further on the inside. So this part here is sandwiched between the two. Oh, I could have undid this to clean it out a little easier. I might put it back together now and just undo that one specific screw to try and reduce the possibility of messing something up fatally. So what I've just discovered is that there is a screw in the bottom that is attached to a piece that is removable, just like this. This piece, I unscrew it a little bit, and this little hatch appears. And it makes for easier cleaning. It looks like this is attached to a screw that has a spring on it, and that presses against the filament with some give due to the spring, and therefore it pushes the filament against the gears that pull it through, that power the filament through. So if I can just move the gear a little, I move that out of the way, and now I'll just move the gear a little bit at a time and clean each tooth individually. I've even brought the vacuum cleaner in here with me, so I'll turn it on after a while and try to like do the best I can to vacuum each individual little dust particle out of that gear, and hopefully it'll get back to tip-top shape. Hopefully. Actually, I don't think I want to use the vacuum cleaner at all. If I have a chance to get to a store that might have a can of compressed air, maybe that might be an option, to spray in from the bottom, maybe to come out the top, and vice versa. But I don't want to risk like sucking in any parts that might be loose, and I'm not exactly sure. So I definitely will avoid the vacuum cleaner for this fix. But it was far too easy for what the problem was. So I'm worried that it might not quite be done, but it might be. So now I've loaded some more filament in. I've plugged the printer back into the receiving electricity. So we'll see what happens when I turn it on, and hopefully this all worked. So now it's just going to move into position to be ready to take in filament. That beeping tells me that it is ready to receive it. It just needs now to warm back up to a high enough temperature to then receive the filament. That did not work. It didn't receive anything. So I will try it again. So the final step to make sure everything's working is make a test print. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that the extruder head is the whole way over here now, and I'll be able to put some glue in the back corner like I never usually can do. Okay, with a fantastic first layer well on its way, it looks like that was exactly what was happening. The drive gear of the extruder was clogged up in a certain patch with lots of the filament dust, chunks of it that kind of caked into the gear that grips onto the filament to keep pulling it through. And when the fresh filament would arrive at that spot, the gear wouldn't grab on, wouldn't seat into the plastic itself, and so the gear would spin fast to move through that specific area, and it would make a clicking sound. And since there's so much power going into that gear, as it would do that, it would make a repeatedly clicking sound. And my print also turns out a bit softer than similar prints I've done in the past, because of that reason. But it seems like that has been solved by just cleaning out each tooth. Next time I'll know I can just access the bottom via that lever in the back that I just pointed out at the end there. Well, so far so good. And hey, I'll see you next time on 3 Delirium.